My freaking chain just snapped. Alright, so you're in the market for a PEV, personal electric vehicle of some sort. You're not sure what you want. Maybe you're looking into the electric dirt bikes or some kind of hyperscooter. So in this video, we're kind of going to compare the pros and cons of each platform, not necessarily the bikes themselves, like the models, but just the platform. So first, let's take the XXX out and talk about it. Alright, so the XXX is actually a really good sort of example of the electric dirt bike segment because it's sort of your entry-level bike in terms of price. You can get the international version off of Alibaba for $2,500 delivered, and then if you wanted the Luna version, you can get them off Luna Cycles for like $3,200. I think it's like $35 or something like that shipped. But for $3,500, you're getting a 60-volt, 40 amp hour battery, and a 6.5 kilowatt tune, decent brakes, suspension, and all that kind of stuff. So if you kind of compare these different segments to like motorcycles, the electric dirt bikes are kind of like your adventure or explorer type bikes. You know, they can go on-road, they can go off-road, they're torquey as shit, you know, you can take hills really easily, but you can also just do nice leisurely rides on the street. What sets these apart from the scooters is these typically have a center drive motor, either a QS, I don't even know all the brands, but just to say center drive motor with a chain and a rear sprocket. Whereas the electric scooters, like the one I have, has two hub motors. It doesn't have a chain and there's no sprocket. So what that does is it makes these electric dirt bikes way more torquey. So a lot more powerful off the line, a lot better at climbing hills, steep hills, and you have some control over your gearing. So if you want to gear it for a higher top speed, lower torque, you can change the sprocket. And then if you want to do reverse, you can increase the size of the sprocket, get more torque. There's a lot of versatility in these kind of bikes. The problem is they can be very pricey. Even though I just said that there's entry for this Telluride XXX is fairly cheap at $3,200. But that's for a 60 volt system and it maxes out probably about 50 miles an hour. 43 with my configuration because I have a larger sprocket. So if you really want to get like maximum performance out of these things, you're going to have to switch to a 72 volt system, which means you're going to need to buy a controller. That's going to run you about $1,000 to $1,500, and a battery, which is going to run you anywhere from $2,000 to $2,500. So you can pretty much double the price of the Telluride XXX if you're wanting to go 60 miles an hour. And if you really want to take advantage of these IPM motors and get as much torque and power as you can out of them. Stock, you're going to get underwhelmed pretty quick with the stock power. Well, not everyone. I get underwhelmed pretty quick because I like super torquey bikes. And I like to be able to have a high top speed where I can do like a 60 mile an hour run if I want to. But they're perfect for stuff like this. You won't be able to do this on a scooter, that's for sure, because they don't have the suspension, they don't have the torque to be able to get back up these steep hills. You know, you're going to get stuck. Another good thing about these kind of bikes is there's just a ton of options, which kind of contradicts what I just said, because I didn't really think about how now you have 72 volt platforms that are variable stock, like the it was an E-Ride Pro SS, comes with 72 volts and 12 amp hour or 12 kilowatt tune, and those are like, I think they're running at around $5,000. So for $5,000, you can get like a high-performing electric dirt bike where you're never going to need any performance upgrades because 12 kilowatts on these kind of bikes is plenty. That's super fast. I know a lot of guys like to go 20, 30, just upgrade the shit out of them as best they can. Usually those guys are riding like some pretty extreme sort of off-road trails and going up really steep mountain hills and stuff like that. But, you know, for me, for this kind of riding, 12 kilowatts is plenty. It's really fast. You're not going to be wanting for more power. It's going to satisfy your need for torque and acceleration and a lot kind of stuff. But another bad thing, sort of a con about having one of these bikes is, and this is really our own doing, is that a lot of cities are starting to crack down on these. You know, a lot of people are getting their bikes impounded and stuff like that, and they're getting crushed. I think in New York City they're actually smashing them with this machinery. You know, and you just spend like $10,000, you know, on your rig, souping it up, and then you go to one of these mega group ride things where everyone's out blocking traffic and doing wheelies and stuff like that, you know, just really being a nuisance to the rest of the citizens in the area. You know, people are trying to use the roads. They're getting blocked by a bunch of 200 people on Surons doing wheelies and shit like that. So I think as time goes on, and if these kind of mega rides and stuff like that don't stop, you're going to be at a higher risk of, sinking a lot of money into your bike and then, not really being able to ride it out in public and stuff like that because of the risk of getting a ticket or even getting it impounded and losing your bike altogether. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Whereas like the scooters, they don't really have those risks associated with them, especially when they look like Moto 5, but we'll talk about that more when we get on that go for a ride with it. This is what I love doing with my Triple X. I have a little pit bike that I ride way more than this now. That's why I'm actually selling this. This is for sale on Facebook Marketplace when I want to get this last video in before I sell it. But yeah, so I think electric pit bikes are kind of going to take the place of a lot of these for people who like to ride like me, because they're smaller, they're more stealth, you know what I mean? People aren't really going to give you as much attention, especially like from cops and stuff like that, when you're riding a little tiny kid's bike around, because even though they can do 50, 60, 70 miles an hour and they've got crazy torque, they just don't look like it. Yeah, this kind of stuff makes me nervous right here with these fences blown down and stuff. These people have dogs. They just let their dogs run out. It's easy to get attacked. I almost got attacked one time. But just this kind of situation, someone just left their gate open and their dogs just keep charging out after me. Sorry, this video's a little incoherent. Anyways, pros, versatility, torque, being able to go off-road and on-road, just sort of having a all-around awesome sort of bike. The cons, the potential risk from cops, if you're riding like I'm riding now, these things can get really, really pricey when you start upgrading them. I mean, those are really the only cons I can think of, just like sort of the price and then the risk. Let me know if I'm missing anything. I can't really think of any other negatives about them. They're super fun, super versatile. You can upgrade the shit out of these. You can put street tires on them. You can put like off-road tires on them. There's plenty of aftermarket parts you can get for these kind of bikes, especially with Suron. Oh, as far as like practicality too, if you're wanting some sort of machine that you can, put like a rack on the back and put like a big old top case so you can go out and deliver like DoorDash and stuff like that, these might not be for you either. They're not very practical in that regard, utilitarian. I mean, there are people who do like DoorDash with Surons and stuff, but they have like a giant backpack type thing. They don't actually mount anything to the bike. But even in their stock configuration, the 60 volts, I mean, like I said, I max out at 43 miles an hour. This is 2 miles an hour fast, but you can definitely keep up with traffic in most situations. On a side note, I installed this the nuclear controller here. That's why this not here, but this is the display for it. And I didn't know I didn't like the stock throttle until I felt the throttle with this nuclear controller on. It is butter smooth. Kind of feeling like, shit, why am I selling this thing? And I'll feel that until I jump on my Moto, which is a little 72 volt pit bike. And I'll remember, oh yeah. Because compared to that Moto, this thing's fun. But that Moto is insane. The pull is super hard. Like just from 0 all the way up to 50, just pulls. And it's like super small, nimble. This is a blast to ride. If you haven't tried an electric pit bike, you've got to get your hands on one and give one a shot, because they're the bee's knees. Maybe I'll add a ride on my Moto to the end of this video. Alright, now let's take the Moto 5 out, a little Hyperscooter. So if you've never seen one of these before, basically they're 10,000 watt. There's two 5,000 watt motors, hub motors. It's got a 72 volt 50 amp hour battery, so this thing has a ton of range. And it cost $3,200 for this variant here. There is one more variant that's 15 kilowatts and 70 amp hours. And that one's probably closer to 3,500 to 4,000. I'm not sure exactly of the price. I actually sell this bike on my website, FewMoto.com. If you're interested, the link's in the description. This also comes with brake lights and turn signals and all that kind of stuff. And there's a little trunk in the back there where you can actually, so right now I have my charger in it. It comes with two 5 amp chargers, so it's 10 amps worth of charging. This thing maxes out about 55 miles an hour. So it's faster than the Suron stock, and it's got way more range than a stock Suron. I did a sport mode full power range test with this and I got 40 miles. I did the same test with my Triple X and I got 30 miles. So now there are scooters, for example, the Geofot F5. You can get a 72 volt, 15 kilowatt setup with a 100 amp hour battery. So you can literally get a scooter that has 80 miles of range in full power sport mode. So these things have a lot less torque off the line than like one of these electric dirt bikes because they have the hub motors. There are some hub motors that are more torquey than others, but still not even close to having like a center drive motor with the chain and sprocket. The benefits of these things is the price point for what you get on these, you're getting a lot more. So you're getting a 72 volt system, you're getting a much bigger battery, which gives you, a higher top speed and longer range. These things are much less versatile. You're not going to go, this has 14-inch off-road tires, so you can do like, dirt roads and stuff like that, but you're not going to be doing like full-on off-roading, and this thing's terrible at taking steep hills. You've got to pick up a lot of momentum because it just doesn't have that torque. As far as like around town, city hills and stuff like that, it's going to be totally fine. So I'm talking steep hills, like off-road, like steep climbs. This one has a rack in the back that comes with a trunk, a top box. Besides the trunk, it comes with stock. You can order a rack. So you could definitely do DoorDash on this because you can pretty much mount anything you want to the rack, which makes these a lot more like practical and utilitarian than something like a Triple X. And this thing is super fun and super nimble. All right, when I run into this liquor store, get some scotch. So I'm gonna get drunk and play PUBG with my friends later. Yeah. So this is where like it lacks is the initial pickup. Once you get going, something happens and it just starts accelerating way faster. But yeah, the initial torque is not there. So anyways, the pros of these things, for the price you get a lot. Like a lot. For $3,200 for this thing, you're getting a 10 kilowatt machine that'll go 55 miles an hour, and in full power mode you're getting 40 miles. So if you go into eco, you'll get a lot more. They're very utilitarian, at least this one is. I know a lot of scooters you can get with like seats and racks and stuff like that you can put on them. They're basically road machines. You're not going to take these off-road or anything like that. They're just great around town. They're not going to draw a lot of attention, so you don't really have to worry about cops and getting impounded and all that kind of stuff. They don't hold the same sort of like stigma that's being built up around these electric dirt bikes because of, the group rides and all that kind of stuff. People getting in fights and, jumping on people's cars and breaking their windows out and pulling guns on people and shit. The whole Suron community is getting a pretty bad reputation. Even though the vast majority of the Suron community are super cool, chill kind of people, it's just, a few bad apples kind of ruin it for everyone. So in conclusion about this, if you're looking for something like fast, long range, lots of fun, but also very like practical and utilitarian, this is a bike for you. And if you don't care about going off-road or having a ton of torque, these are also, safe from cops, pretty much. All right, as a little bonus, let's take this guy out really quick and do a little review on that too, compared to these two. Spoiler alert, this is my favorite by a pretty good margin. It's ridiculous. Oh shit. What I love about this thing is just that torque is amazing. It's so insane. I literally have to hold on to these handlebars. That's how powerful this thing is. It just rips. Uh-oh. Something broke off. Ah, my freaking chain just snapped. Shit. That's funny because Reese from Moments with Reese borrowed this and he was putting me on Front Street because of the shitty chain. He was right. Guess I'm going for a walk. Yeah, so these little rinky-dink chains are not really made for the torque. That's why people upgrade to the 420s or want to upgrade to the 420s. The new bike I got coming, which is the same size, same power, except it has a larger battery. It was designed from the ground up to be a 72 volt system, and it comes with a 420 chain. I think part of it was just kind of the poor maintenance of the chain too. It was kind of rusty. Yeah, but that's going to do it for this one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.